Mindful Monday. Take a breath today. 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 Mindful Monday. Take a breath. Take a breath today. Take a breath. Take a breath today. Take a breath. Take a breath today. Take a breath today. Take a breath today. Take a breath. Take a breath today. Take a breath. Take a breath today.
So you know how it's a whole like the person nursing it all
Mindful Monday. Number one day.
Welcome again, officially to the Mindful Mondays. You know what? Sometimes Mindful Mondays start a little late because you have a beautiful weekend, and then when you wake up on a Monday, you kind of got to get the oil cranking again. So today, this Mindful Monday, let me term it crank up the Monday on the Mindful Monday. We still have people yawning, Dr. Carter yawning. You can tell he
Yes,
had an
sir.
excellent weekend.
Yes, sir. But I'm wide awake now.
Keep in mind the opinions and comments made on Mindful Monday are solely those of the commentator. It has nothing to do with the management of any of the entities from Harris Stowe to Hidden Gem, City Vision, DRHF Internet Radio. Again, we're coming together to cultivate the mind. And the main goal of Mindful Monday is how can we make St. Louis the city of preference? There are a lot of cities out there, a lot of states, 52, if I'm not 52, right? 51, 52 states?
Yeah, 50.
50.
50 states, right. And
50
Puerto
states.
Rico.
Oh, okay. 50 states. So if we can make St. Louis the city, the state that everybody wants to be a part of, that'd be awesome to us. But it requires us to work together as a collaboration. We have a beautiful panel, co-hosts, panels, inspirators, motivators, educators. Dr. David Parr, as always, bringing the history of where we are in America. Dr. Lewis Cross, all about what you need to know. Michelle Watts, Tech 101, and I'm going to tell you, it ain't really 101. It's advanced technology.
Sure is.
You know, of course, we have Dr. Norman Ross.
Well, thank you, Tavon, for saying I'm a famous historian. I'm just the person who does some history. That's all.
Yeah, well,
Hey,
and you,
Lewis, I'm like
Yes.
you. I just woke up not too long
Oh
ago.
man, look, yeah. I'll tell you about it, Dave. Had a rough week last week, but I'm back.
I'm glad.
Yeah, sometimes these weeks can get rough.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I spent about 4 hours getting my air conditioner repaired.
Yeah, because it's gonna show out tomorrow. It's supposed to show out
Yeah,
today, but it's gonna be hot all this week except Thursday, I think.
Yes. And I'm glad you actually gave a good segue to the weather because we're at a 61 sunny, very little for rain today. The wind is about 6 miles per hour, kind of giving it a chill. Still feels a little, we need a jacket, but we're in the 61. The high today will be as high as 76, according to Google. Now, if they change the weather, then we're going to blame Google for that. But it is going to be a beautiful weekend. We have Tuesday is going to be a high of the 80s, low 52s, Wednesday 77, 58. Thursday 79, 59, and we're going to have some showers and thunderstorms on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and actually next Monday. But it will still be in the 75, low at 57, but it will be some showers and rain. Today we're good. 67, low is 43. That's a good few days of barbecuing and going out to the. Dr. Paul, what do you do? Do you golf? Do you go to the pool? Or are you the ones that go to like the pool house and you tell everybody you can't play pool, but then you end up taking everybody's money? Is that you, Dr. Paul? You tell everybody I can't play pool, and then you end up racking the table. Is that how you are? Hey, he didn't hear me on that. See how you playing that? That's a tactic. I
Yeah,
don't say nothing, but I really hear you. But no, I don't play.
I don't either. I never did. Never did perfect it. I play, but I don't. I'm not good at it.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
Michelle, are you a pool player? You play pool?
yeah. I play. I play, but just for fun. I know I have a couple of friends that are really really good, and they play for money, $5,000, $10,000, stuff like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but no, not me. I just play for fun. I'm really good at if you've ever played bumper pool, I can play that uh,
Bumper
at a
pool.
high level, but I can't play regular.
Bumper pool. What's that? Like an old school
Oh no,
format of?
you have to bank every shot in, and it
Oh,
has some bumpers. I mean, some rubber bumpers on the middle portion of the table, and you have to get around it. And you have to get all your 5 balls in before the other person does.
I got you.
Yeah, it's,
Okay.
it's pretty challenging. That's about the best I can do.
Okay.
So, are we ready to start, Tavon? Because I know we have a lot
Absolutely.
of interesting stuff going on, and of course we have the genius Cheryl. So we definitely want to get her in there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was actually going to start with Michelle since I'm glad you kicked off to her. Michelle,
Okay.
what tech do we have going on today?
Okay. Uh, I missed last week because I was given a last minute invitation to play in a charity golf event, and it was fun. Didn't play the greatest, but we still had a good time. And I promised John that this week I would cover the technology that golfers use. First, I'm going to show you my little goodie bag. Yeah, this is my little goodie bag that hangs on my golf bag. And
Okay.
in here, I have a few tools that are helpful just to me. When I get onto the golf course, I have this little thing called a golf buddy. It clips onto my cap, and it looks for satellites. It's actually a small satellite receiver, and it shows you where you are on a particular golf. I shouldn't say shows you, but it tells you where you are on a particular golf course, and it tells you how far you have to go to get to the green. My next favorite gadget comes in two pieces. These are sensors made by a company called Arcos that fasten into the end of your golf club. What they do,
Actually.
what these little sensors do is that when you swing your club and hit the ball, the app on your phone picks it up, and then using GPS, it tracks how far you hit the ball. So it helps you to improve your strokes.
Okay.
And then my third little gadget I love to play with is used on the putting green. This is called a birdie buddy. Basically, what it is it's a compass. and it also acts kind of like a level. So when you lay it on the green, you can read like you read a level. There's a little bubble in there, and it tells you what angle that you need to prepare for when you're putting. And this thing actually was quite helpful to me in that it tells you whether your putt is going to be uphill, downhill, break to the left, or break to the right. So this has been a really helpful one to me. And my little gadgets, except for the Arcos subscription, are relatively inexpensive. You'll also see a lot of golfers invest in um, laser range finders. These look kind of like, in some respects, a camera or a not a binocular, but a monocular. There's only one thing that you look through, and this will tell you exactly how far you are from the green. Most of those get to be a little on the expensive side, and I chose not to invest in it because I didn't want to put that much money into finding out how far I am from the green when I have learned through my years of lessons and playing experience to pretty well estimate how far I need to hit the ball. So there's a lot of technology that you can buy for personal improvement. And then, of course, there are things like you can set up your own little studio, to call it, where you can hit the ball, and there's camera that and lasers that capture your stroke and tell you approximately how far you've hit the ball on a simulator screen. You can go to those. There are places set up for you to do that, even in a major golf place like Golf Galaxy. And that's something to help you. And there are also some places that have simulators set up where you can play around the golf and you can compete with other golfers on a specific range. It shows you the layout of the course, and you hit the balls and you it keeps score for you. A couple of other things that are useful are all used with your phone. There are golf apps. Some of them are free, some of them are subscriptions, but you can download the layout of the course. And when you play, you can see using your phone's GPS where you are on the course, how far you have to go, and keep score. And then even share your score with other people. For last week's tournament, we used an app that transmitted our scores back to the master score sheet, the master scoring sheet back at the clubhouse. So there's a lot of stuff that golfers can use that are all based on technology, usually using lasers for distance measuring and GPS for location and links.
Okay.
Hmm.
So as promised, I told you I was going to tell you about my golf technology.
How much for the first one that you mentioned, the one that you can tell the how far you hit the ball and locate the ball?
The one I use, nothing that I have purchased and carry in this little pouch costs more than $40,
Okay.
except for the subscription for the sensors that go on my golf clubs. Those sensors run roughly $200 to $250 for a set that goes on one on each of your clubs.
I
And
see.
then there's a subscription if you really want to get all the good stuff that can become kind of costly. But most of the individual things that I use for everyday play and even sometimes in tournament play are all inexpensive things. I don't see the need for buying a lot of really expensive stuff to go and play something that I just really enjoy doing. I'm not out there to take everybody's money and win all the trophies, even though Uh, I do win fairly often,
Uh-huh.
but I just really enjoy being outdoors. You're out there in nature. You see lots of um, in my areas, you see lots of deer, you see lots of birds. The landscaping is beautiful. It's just a great place to get away from everything else in your life. Relax, do something different,
Right.
and then there's a lot of fun. Everybody knows what the 19th hole is, don't you? Do you know what the 19th hole is?
Is that the watering hole?
Nope.
Hmm.
Yes, the bar.
Yeah, the bar, right, where you go in
Yep.
after the game is over. Yeah, I have my cousin's well, he's retired now, but he was a golf pro, teaching pro, and he at Pine Hill Golf Course in Memphis, Tennessee, named Charles
Mhm.
Hudson. Yeah. So yeah, I know quite a bit about golf. In fact, my whole family in Memphis are golfers, and he's best friends with Tiger, and he
Wow.
walked the 18 holes the first time Tiger won the Masters.
Wow.
Hmm.
Wow, that must have really been nice.
Yes, yes. Tiger came to his golf course twice to raise money for the kids. They had 450 kids that came to the golf course 4 days a week, and FedEx and Kellogg and all the major corporations in Memphis would send their golfers to teach the kids how to play golf. And so that's how he was able to get the participation he needed to train these kids. And he ran that program for about 15 years.
Hmm.
Wow, that is really really
Mhm.
cool.
Yes.
I have personally have been fortunate to be associated with um, one of the black golfers clubs in the St. Louis area, and that's a group called the Tea Masters.
Okay.
I have a cousin who was president of the Tea Masters for quite a while, and it was nice to be not only to support them in their golfing events by participating in them, but I love the fact that they had a junior group and those kids learned to play by being taught by the members of the club.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I have clubs. I bought a set of my wife bought a set of clubs for me, and they're sitting in the foyer of the house, drawing dust. And they're Cobra. I have Cobra, whatever. I think that's a pretty good brand. But
Yes, it is.
yeah, so I bought them. She bought them from my cousin's golf uh, store, whatever they have down there. But I'm gonna try one day to play um, and see what I can do. I mean, really seriously get involved with it because I've been to the, uh, the country club over there on Lucas and Hunt, the oldest one in.
Glen Echo.
Yeah, Glen Echo.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been there about four or five times. Some friends of mine were members, and I got out there, and it just didn't work. You have to get some lessons. You don't need any lessons. You can just get out there. No, no, no. I get it because I feel like an idiot out there, and I hit the ball the first time, and I hit it, and it went about 3 feet, and then it backed and spun back to where I started. so, so I felt like the village idiot. And all the golfers, they started laughing. They said, "Welcome to the club," because that's what happened to me the first time too.
Well, I guess I'm one of the fortunate few in having played other sports where skills transfer over. For me, two sports, tennis and softball, made it
Okay.
easier for me to connect.
Okay, I got
Much
you.
Hmm.
easier.
I got you. Okay.
And I love being the little old gray-haired ringer out there on the course.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
They don't think I can hit very far, and then surprise, surprise.
How far can you on a drive? What's the longest you've hit?
The longest drive I ever hit was 260 yards.
Good golly, Miss
Mhm.
Molly. Oh my goodness. That is
Nowadays,
That
I
was,
don't go
yeah,
quite that.
that was,
I don't go quite that far nowadays.
yeah, but that's
That was the longest
fantastic.
I ever hit.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Really good. Yeah, you're a strong lady if you can do that.
Well, my job with the
Oh.
guys that I play with in the charity scramble event is for me to keep the ball in play. So when I drive the ball. It's out there on the fairway, pretty much
Mm-hmm.
in the middle,
Okay.
and we're pretty much guaranteed to make par.
Right.
Their job is to bomb it as far as they want to bomb it and
Yeah.
try to keep it out of trees.
Right. Yeah, that's not a good way to play. You don't ever, I
When you
mean, it
on
looks
that,
good
you got
and
to be
it
ready
makes
now.
you feel good that you can drive 275 yards, but if you can't get on it on there and make and par the hole, then you wasted the effort.
Well, like I said, my job is to keep us in play. Their job is to see if they can get us a good long shot and stay out of the trees.
Right, right.
So if they can stay out of the trees and get us a good long shot, that's great.
Okay, I got you.
It's all about strategy, and that's not only in that particular game. That's in any game.
Right. Right. Then of course we all get to have fun. I don't play with dull people.
I don't blame
I
you.
don't play with dull or boring people.
I don't blame you
You
one
know,
bit.
we have to have fun. There's uh if you cannot take any jokes or ribbing, don't come out with us.
I see.
But I thought it's a quiet game. No one should
Mm.
be. You got to be quiet. So how is it not going to be boring? You got to I mean,
No,
I
you're
love
only
quiet and peace,
no,
but for the most,
no, no, Tavon, you're only quiet when someone is concentrating on setting up their shot and making
All
it.
right.
But in between shots, no holds barred.
understood.
Well, let me tell you guys that here we finally got on, and I came by the former poet laureate's house so that he could recite some poetry and uh, and maybe a small story. I'm not sure how much has been covered on the show, but if you all can recall, John Skates for 2 years was the poet laureate, and he's got some additional pieces that he'd like to share with us. I'm not sure if this is a good or opportune time. You tell me, Tavon, but I'll pass my computer over to him.
It's an excellent time.
Okay. Cheryl, wait, hold on, John. Cheryl, were you finished?
Oh, yes, John. As I promised, I brought my little bag of stuff, technology stuff that I use, and I talked about a number of other things of technology and golf. So I'm
Okay.
also going to bid all of you farewell.
Okay, sure.
I have
Cheryl,
a stack of
tell
student projects to do.
yeah, I know you do. Cheryl, tell me this. Are there some programs that will help those of us who like golf but don't know how to play it very well? There's some programs and some activities that we can do.
Okay, John. Uh, Most of your better golf courses offer lessons. Your community colleges offer lessons at
hmm
public courses for at pretty low cost as well. And then there are the
Okay.
simulator studios where you can go and take lessons using the simulator, but you're indoors.
Well, thanks much. I hear what you're saying.
Okay, so I will say farewell for today and go tackle my student projects that I need to finish.
Thanks so much, Cheryl. Really
All
appreciate
righty.
it.
Have a
Thank
good
you
one,
so much
everyone.
Thank
for
you.
being.
Thank you so much.
All right, you have a good one as well.
Okay, John, it's showtime.
Okay, how you doing, everyone?
Doing well,
Um,
John.
I decided to read a poem because this new war situation has really upset me tremendously, and I surmise the reason why is I'm too old to be involved in a war, but people or the audience don't know what war is about. They really don't know how devastating war is about blood and carnage and heard or hear about it, but they have no idea what war is really about. So this first poem is I don't know why God saved me. This poem was born on the battlefield, inspired by pain and blood. My blood, crimson blood, that hopefully will give life to these words. So you can visualize, see what so many of us have cried through. Imagine pain that makes painless pain. My closed eyes see every face that flees away from me, fleeing imaginary mirages. This sweet dream, angel of death hovering over, her wings touching me. I'm cold. Who took the sun? No life, but God brought me back to right, to give life. And so
That's poem number
that's
one.
poem number one.
And is I don't know why God saved me. And your thing is that He saved you to write about
Right, that's how I
it.
feel because for a long time until I was involved in the VA and um, in anger management, and then I have a psychiatrist, a psychologist, and they suggested that I write about my experience because I couldn't run from it. I was stuck on stupid. I was stuck in a place that was very painful to me, and I committed attempted suicide and a lot of other things. And writing was the only thing that that I could dig deep in me and bring it to the fore and bring it out.
Share another one with us, John.
Okay, I've been shot at with machine guns, pistol whipped, and stomped into the ground. My sister, my sister broke my heart. The scars we bear. I didn't think I would get this far. I didn't think I would become an honest man. I didn't think I would become I didn't think I would become a child of God, but I am. I want to raise my right hand and shout, Jesus. That sounds like a fairy tale. Life is life. This is more than light. move in darkness. This is about my life in the struggles to get to a place where we can receive the key, well, we can receive the keys to the kingdom. Sometimes I pinch me. Where did John go? I don't know. I'm just glad I'm free. For me, I always been my worst enemy. I thank God for giving me this praiseworthy gift, a golden pen and a voice. I don't know. I know my writing is the dope. I didn't know why God has blessed me. I'm not arrogant. I'm just high on me. Okay. And so that was called In My Past Life. And my last poem was, and it's in a whole different other vein. I call it Four Seasons. As a seasoned man, I have known the winter of loneliness and the summer of passion, but never in my 40 years have I experienced or can I explain what happened the first time I saw you. A surge of electrical energy jolted my body, starting from the nape of my neck, flowing down to my spine, flowing down to my spine, to my loins.
Mhm.
That throb, that throb, okay. Okay, I get it. That throb to the lyrical rhythms of lust. I felt 16 again, ready. There was no love and job. There was no love involved, just animal magnetism. The breast overcame the man. I was prepared to lie, buy, or anything else, just to lie between your thighs. After our first night together, I was surprised when you told me you knew, but you was curious too. It's funny, out of that raw beginning, how love has grown and respect earned. That's why I asked you to marry me last night, because that once raging fire in me is but a candlelight compared to what we have together now. But the only thing I heard was no, my first marriage didn't work. That word no has played back in my mind all night, all day. The crack in that record is the crack in my life. Only you can make me whole again. Give me, give yourself another chance. Life is more than two seasons. Life is full. You are my autumn. You are my spring. Say yes. Take the ring. Only God knows what tomorrow will bring. And thank you again.
Thank you, John. Enjoyed that. Really enjoyed it.
Well, I just hate it's not Valentine's Day because I would I think I would reword it a little bit and write some, I write something to my wife to say
There you
thank you
go.
for doing
There
this.
you go. There you go.
Yeah, I think a little plagiarism, but it's an excellent poem. Thanks, John. And again,
Okay.
Yeah.
thanks for being the poet laureate for um, for National Black Radio Hall of Fame.
Okay, then. Thank you much.
Yeah, I always thank John for modeling a behavior that is can be exemplary for a lot of veterans who happen to have that battle experience, because a lot of them come home and they have no outlet. John has an outlet, and he's modeling an outlet for other veterans that I think is very, very positive.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
Dr. Parr and Dr. Cross, uh, and also, and Norman doesn't know her. Dr. Ross doesn't know her, but I had an opportunity to talk to Helen today, and she said she will come on next week and read one of her uh, new renditions or new poems. So I am looking forward to that.
Can I make a comment, John?
Yeah.
Or ask you a question? How is Helen?
Helen's doing fine.
Okay.
Helen is doing fine. She's been so busy helping her mother, and she's been working with a couple of groups, and she's been doing this piece of sharing her poetry with seniors and with young people.
Okay.
So she's doing really, really well. Uh, Louis, have you had an opportunity to talk yet?
No, I think Dr. Parr is next, and then I
Oh,
think, or either Dr. Parr or Dr.
Ross.
Ross. Dr. Ross. I think one of those two guys are ahead of me.
Okay, tell me this. Did we do anything with the weather forecast?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, we did.
Tavon Brooks gave us the entire weather forecast, including the
Oh,
speed of the wind. Of the wind, he gave us the
excellent.
speed of the wind as well.
All right, that's excellent. So, uh, Dr. Parr, let's hear from you.
Well, I had a narrative that I wanted to present, but I'm going to cut it a little short and go right into those events that happen in African American history, um, because the show is running a little late. So I'm going to start with April 7th, 1712. That was the second day of the New York City slave revolt. It was a violent uprising of between 20 to 50 enslaved Africans and Native Americans who set fire to a building and attacked the slave owners who came to extinguish the fire. A local militia was sent. They captured 27 of the people and brutally executed 21 of them. They either burned some alive, they hung some, or they even buried them alive. The impact resulted in more legal constraints on enslaved people, and free African Americans lost their rights to own land. So they instituted some real restrict measures because of that slave revolt. The uprising and harsh legal response highlighted the extent to which owners would go to terrorize the enslaved population into submission. While Southern slavery was more widespread and agricultural, New York's strict 1720 restrictions, brutal execution, and urban surveillance created an intense oppressive environment for its dense, diverse slave population. And for those people who don't realize it, the North had just as many slaves at that point than the South. And New York was one of the strongest and biggest slave states in the North in 1712. Of course, at that time it was a British colony and not a state of the United States. April 7th, 1934, William Monroe Trotter, a pioneer African American editor, a Harvard graduate, and a militant civil rights activist, fell from his third floor apartment window and died. Who was William Trotter? He was one of the first African Americans to receive um, a Phi Beta Kappa key at Harvard, which means that he was a top student in his Harvard class. It's something that you don't usually hear. And of course, naturally, he's been sort of bypassed in history. He founded the Boston Guardian newspaper and became a leading voice against segregation and a fierce opponent became a fierce opponent of Booker T. Washington because Booker T. Washington was one of those who wanted to approach segregation and discrimination gradually. Monroe Trotter did it very, very strongly. He even famously challenged President Woodrow Wilson in the White House in 1914 for segregating federal employees. He helped form the Niagara Movement, and if you're not familiar with that, it's a precursor to the NAACP. He helped form that with W.E. Du Bois. Again, it's a forerunner of the NAACP. Trotter's uncompromising direct action tactics for equality, again, were a precursor to some of the modern civil rights movements. Some of the reasons Trotter has been historically overlooked is one, because of his rival with Booker T. Washington. Again, he was one of those who went out and was very, very vehement in trying to end segregation and discrimination, where Booker T. Washington took it kind of slow. And of course, the white fundraisers, like Booker T. Washington's approach, because it didn't upset the bandwagon. His unrelenting confrontational tactics and his lack of personal memoirs, he didn't write any books. He had very few interviews, and he died with limited funds. Was one of the other reasons that he was not of focus as far as African American history is concerned. April 7th, 1940, Booker T. Washington became the first African American honored on a U.S. postal stamp. It was a 10-cent stamp and part of the famous American series. You can still obtain some of those stamps today, even, but you'd have to go on either eBay or you would have to go to one of those companies that specialize in keeping stamps. It might cost you a pretty, pretty, pretty penny. And by the way, William Monroe Trotters, even though his life was not a focus of history, there is a book out about him, and it's titled The Black Radical: Life and Times of William Trotter. April 7th, 1862 was the second day of the Battle of Shiloh, or Pittsburgh Landing, in Tennessee, when Union forces led by Major General Ulysses S. Grant overcame a surprise attack by General Albert Johnson's Confederate Army. Now, the Confederate Army had more men than the Union Army, so therefore they kind of forced the Union Army to retreat for a minute. But finally, with reinforcements, the Confederate Army began to retreat and left control of the area of Carthage, Tennessee, and the railroad under control of the Union Army. Although at that time, in 1862, there were not any African American combat troops. African Americans were still there in non-combat roles. They still came under fire, which means even though they were in non-combat roles, they still were shot at, they were captured, they were whatever happened in battle to African Americans. One of the African Americans, Andrew Jackson Smith, who was finally a Medal of Honor winner from the Civil War, was an enslaved person, and he was wounded at the Battle of Shiloh. The battle was considered as the deadliest battle of the Civil War up to that point, resulting in 23,000 to 24,000 casualties. 23,000 people. You have to realize the Civil War, as far as John Skates is concerned, the war was the last war fought on American soil. April 8th, 1879, Joseph R. Winters received his second pattern for an improved fire escape ladder. This pattern was for an improvement on his original wagon-mounted fire escape ladder. Winters' design used metal frames and parallel steps rather than wooden frames and wooden steps. In the development part of modern hook and ladder fire trucks, his pioneer work is still being used, and it was a precursor again to the present day hook and ladder fire trucks and modern day firefighting equipment and safety standards. On April 9th, 1865, the Civil War ended with the surrender of General Robert E. Lee at the courthouse at Appomattox. As part of the Union forces that helped surround and capture and block any Confederate escape route were elements of the 25th Corps. The 25th Corps was made up of entirely enslaved or former enslaved African Americans. The 116th Regiment, and again entirely composed of formerly enslaved soldiers from Kentucky. They pushed to the front. They prevented Lee from retreating and were present in the area to prevent any final Confederate breakthrough. They also received a major part of the casualties up to Lee's surrender. On April, so you see, African Americans had had a lot of presence in all the wars of that United States has been involved in. April 9th, 1866, after Congress did an override of President Andrew Johnson's veto, the Civil Rights Act of 1866 was passed and became law. The law was designed to protect the rights of newly freed slaves, especially in the South, assuring that they could make contracts, they could sue people, and they could own property and inherit property. Of course, after the Reconstruction era, you have to remember Jim Crow laws came into existence, which really eradicated some of the power that African Americans had after that Civil Rights Act. April 10th, 1834, in New Orleans, Louisiana, a fire at the La Loraisa Mansion in New Orleans revealed an illegal torture chamber containing 7 enslaved people, some of whom were horribly mutilated and chained in the attic. Bystanders and firefighters discovered the victims who had been starved and subjected to long-term brutal abuse by the owner, Delphine La Laurent. The fire had been set by a cook who they found chained to the stove in the kitchen. And she set the fire because she feared that she was going to be tortured. She didn't want to be tortured. She'd rather die in a fire rather than be tortured by this cruel lady. Further investigation by a mob who broke into the house um, found evidence of more victims buried on the grounds, including the body of a young girl who was exposed and killed by this cruel lady. This exposed the reality of La Laurier's cruelty, which was masked by her high social standards or status in New Orleans. She was what you would call a highlight society person. So the cruelty of her slaves was not probably investigated because of her high status in society. The cruelty of slave owners in the South, Leroy and the family, they escaped to Paris, and they were never faced formal legal justice in the United States for her atrocities. The mansion was rebuilt and now is considered one of the New Orleans haunted places. So if you ever go to New Orleans, go to the LaLaurie Mansion, but be careful. It's supposed to be haunted. April 10th, 1947, Jackie Robinson signed a contract to the Brooklyn Dodgers to make him the first African American to sign to play for a Major League Baseball team in the 20th century. He made his Major League debut with the Brooklyn Dodgers 5 days later. On April 10th, 1968, The Civil Rights Act of 1968, known also as the Fair Housing Act, was passed by Congress. This act also included the Indian Civil Rights Act. This law expanded a previous act to combat housing discrimination, especially in the areas of sales, rentals, financing of housing based on race, religion, natural origin, and later sex, origin, disability, and family status. If you are counting, this makes the third time that they had to pass a law to reinforce the laws that were passed in the 1800s for civil rights. That's in itself is an indictment of the discriminatory practices in the United States. April 11th, 1881, Spelman College, originally started as Atlanta Baptist Female Seminary, held its first class in the basement of Friendship Baptist Church in Atlanta. It eventually became Spelman College and a major um, university in Atlanta. It is now part of the Atlanta Consortium, which includes Clark University, Atlanta University, and Spelman College. Our word of today. Our word of today is deracinate. Deracinate is a verb. Deracinate meaning to uproot, pull up by the roots, or force someone away from their native home, culturally or environmentally. The word was introduced into the English language in the 1590s. It comes from the French word deracinura, which means to split into, and it's also split into the prefix de or dis, meaning reversal, and also a root word, racine. It does have a later Latin source, which much of our language comes from, and the Latin source is redicine or redex, meaning root. The same basic formulation of the words eradicate. Synonyms for deracinate. And deracinate is Deracinate. Deracinate. Again, it's a verb. Synonyms are uproot, eradicate, displace, remove, exile. Sentences. The gardener had to deracinate the stubborn weeds before planting new flowers. Uh, having a minor in biology, I'm very familiar with that. The Battle of Shiloh deracinated the people from their peaceful community. The tornado in May 2025 in St. Louis deracinated the North St. Louis community. Our quote for today, the quote is, great quotes are not where you find great wisdom. It is where you share this knowledge that counts. It's from an anonymous person. This can mean that wisdom is active. It should be shared and applied rather than merely collected. Sharing knowledge is not the same as wisdom. Basketball coach John Wooden said this. He focused on gathering and applying and sharing knowledge, and that leads to a value towards wisdom. That's basically all I have for today, except the thought of the day. Remember, you are always better than you think you are. Thank you. Now I'm interested in Dr. Ross's ancient history because it is a precursor and to some of the things that I presented. You guys still there?
Yeah, we're still here. We're listening to you.
My make a comment, John Skates. Mr. Parr, I really want to commend you Woodrow Wilson, President Wilson, before him, blacks in government were supervisors. They managed white folks. They was really in leadership programs. But after Woodrow Wilson, he took everything away. He made the government what it is today. You know, he really was the major cause in racism in the government.
Yeah, because the president before him had a couple of cabinet members that were African American. Woodrow
Right.
Wilson came along. He made sure that the when America entered the First World War, he made sure he told General Pershing, you cannot integrate those African American troops with those white troops. Please segregate them. Now, General Pershing, if you don't know it, he had when they went to Mexico during the Mexican Civil War, or General Pershing was in command of some African American troops, and he had a lot of respect for them. But because of Woodrow Wilson, um, he had to separate his African American troops, and they ended up actually being recognized, being really honored by fighting with the French. And there were a number of African American heroes who fought with the French, not only receiving the French highest medal of honor, the Guerre de Guerre, but they were honored by the French and are still honored by the French to this day. And during the Second World War, the Dutch and the French honored African American troops. But initially, like you said, Dr. Ross, it was basically Woodrow Wilson's baby. He was the one who said, no, you cannot do this. And, he's kind of looked at as one of the better presidents. Personally, not in my eyesight.
Thank you.
Thank you again for that beautiful, beautiful information. Man, it's been an active show today. We have Dr. Norman in the house. Dr. Jackson, you want to take a break or you want to move to Dr. Norman?
Let's keep it moving. Well, why don't we take a break so you can get Norman set up? Take a break and get Norman.
He's already set up.
All right, well, let's go. Let's rock and roll.
Dr. Norman, the stage is yours.
Last week, we left off with Hasari, Dr. Asari, who was literally the father of dentistry. And we left off with him, but I want to start again with Imhotep because I want to emphasize how important this man was. What I have here, and if you remember from last week, Imhotep's name translates as he who comes in peace, and sometimes they translate it as I who come in peace. But he was our first great multi-genius philosopher, father of architecture, the father of engineering, the father of medical science, and a major spiritual leader in ancient Kemet. He was literally the high priest of the city of Eneb-Hej, which the Greeks called Memphis. So this is very important that we emphasize how important he was. This is the mysterious guy, Imhotep, who initiated the first great Renaissance period in world civilization. This was the third dynasty. And King Djoser, who was the king of ancient Kemet during the third dynasty, he commissioned Imhotep to build the first stone building complex, which was the step pyramid in Kemet. So now the pyramid age begins and is initiated by Imhotep. What you have, the images you see before you are images of a statue of Imhotep from the Old Kingdom period. And to the right, you have a statue of Imhotep during the Middle Kingdom period. And his features of his statue is that of a Black African. Very important to realize that, because I need to show you pictures of the ancient Egyptians as Black Africans and not as some non-African ethnic group that is the general understanding in the world today. So when we look at the actual statues and whatever, we see Black Africans. Here is a bronze statue of Imhotep from the New Kingdom period. And as you can see, he always is pictured in the statue sitting and holding a book or scroll in his lap. Probably the only ancient picture of a figure reading a book in his lap. Okay. These are late period statues during the Greek occupation of Egypt. These are statues of Imhotep because Imhotep was deified by the Egyptians as well as the Greeks. And the Greeks represented Imhotep in the Greek god of health was Dracula. Another statue of Imhotep who's deified as a god. This is a picture, a wood carving of Hasare, who was a doctor of medicine, a medical doctor who specialized in dentistry. So here we have the father of dentistry in world civilization. As you can see, he has an afro and he is a Black African. This is some of the dental work that the Egyptians did and why they were masters of the science of dentistry. And this is another wood carving of Hasare, father of dentistry in world civilization. This is what Imhotep built. Keep in mind that Imhotep was a contemporary of Hasare. Both of them lived around the same time in the Old Kingdom period. This is what Imhotep built, and this is why he is the father of architecture and engineering. Let me show you what that probably actually looked like in an animation. This is the step pyramid, and this is the building complex surrounding the step pyramid. The first architecture in stone. This is a picture of the step pyramid. What you can see, you see 6 steps that make up the step pyramid. This is the first pyramid beginning pyramid period, the pyramid golden age of the Old Kingdom period, which was a 505-year golden age. Okay. So we look at the step pyramid from 2686 before the common era, BCE, 2686 BCE. Okay. This is a second pyramid complex which was built by King Huni. You can look at his picture of his the portrait of his stone, photo of his stone statue, and you can see that he's a Black African. King Huni's name translates as the smiter, and he was the last king of Dynasty 3, third dynasty. And this is his pyramid, which was a step pyramid, generally called the Meidon pyramid. This is another photo of King Huni or Hunai, and this is another picture of his pyramid. A far off photo of King Hunai's step pyramid. Now, this is a statue of King Sneferu, and his name translates as He of Beauty. King Sneferu, his father, King Hunai, built the bent pyramid. He started the bent pyramid, but it was his son, King Sneferu, who finished the bent pyramid. King Sneferu also started a second pyramid, which was the first true pyramid. It's generally called the red pyramid because of its red color. But King Sneferu built the first true pyramid, and as you can see, his time, the time of his reign was 2613 to 2589 BCE, before the Common Era. Okay. This is a photo of the bent pyramid, and you can see its structure was a bent pyramid. Okay. This is King Sneferu's pyramid, which is called the Red Pyramid, and it is the first true pyramid. Okay. Now, this is the son of King Sneferu, King Khufu. He built the Great Pyramid, and that pyramid was built around 2589, from 2589, sometime between 2589 and 2566, before the Common Era. King Khufu's name translates as protected by the god Khnum. Okay. This is inside the Great Pyramid. And these are actual photos of inside the Great Pyramid. And this is a photo of outside the Great Pyramid, and shows you people riding on camels way below at the bottom of the pyramid. And you can get an idea of how big this structure was. There's only one known statue of King Khufu, and that's what you see before you. And as you can tell, he is a Black African. Okay. Now, this is a picture, a photo of the Great Pyramid, and then, which was built by King Khufu, and then his son, King Khafre, built the second Great Pyramid, which was smaller than the Great Pyramid. And then down here, the son of King Khafre, who was let's see if I can, there it is. Okay, there's my arrow. Oh, okay. His son, the son of King Khafre, built the third pyramid on the Giza Plaza. Now, I'm going to tell you that in 2532, that ended the ruling. That's when King Khafre ended his ruling. So from the first step pyramid to the completed building of King Khafre's pyramid, you have a period of 154 years. Okay. And so all you have to do is just to do the study, do the research, and find and realize that these pyramids are not over 10,000 years. They weren't built by aliens, and it was Black Africans that built, the Black Egyptians, Kemetic people built these pyramids. Okay. This is a photo of the son, one of the sons of King Khufu, who built a very small pyramid complex. And his name is King Djafre. And his name translates as enduring like the god Ra or Re. This is what's left of his pyramid, which was very small. And it's probably small because King Djafre probably only ruled for about 4 years. And at his death, his brother, King Khafre, whose name translates as appearing like the god Ra or Re, this son of King Khufu built the second Great Pyramid. Okay. And this is a picture of his pyramid and also some other statues of King Khafre, featuring him as a Black African, ancient Kemetic king. This is another picture of King Khafre, and I show you these different photos of different statues of King Khafre to demonstrate that he was a Black African. These are some other pictures of King Khafre, different statues, and you can look at what we call the Sphinx. We call it the Sphinx because the Sphinx is a Greek name, which means when you translate Sphinx, it translates as the strangler. The actual Kemetic name of what the Greeks called the Sphinx was Her-em-Ekhet, which means the god Heru is on the horizon. Now you understand why we have to find the original classical Kemetic names for the kings as well as the cities as well as different monuments. This is another picture of the Her-em-Ekhet, Heru of the horizon. Okay. And this is Khafre's pyramid. Okay. This is the god Menkaure, who was the son of King Khafre. He built the third pyramid on the Giza Plaza, which is the smallest pyramid. His name translates as eternal like the souls of the god Ra or Re. Okay. This is Menkaure, the King Menkaure's triad. He's standing between two of the female goddesses. This is another statue, different statue of King Menkaure. And we show you these different statues to demonstrate that these kings and queens and prominent Kemetic officials were Black Africans. This is King Menkaure's pyramid from an aerial view. Okay, and I'm going to rush through these. Okay. Let me get back to, okay. This is King Shepseth Ka'ef. His name translates as his soul is noble. Okay. And he was the son of King Menkari. Now, King Chef Hef did not build a pyramid. He built literally a bench type tomb structure, which was similar to the early tombs of the first and the second dynasty of ancient Kemet. Okay, here's another photo of a statue of King Shep Es Kaf, which translates as his soul is noble, and he's wearing the white crown of the southern African kingdom. Okay. And here is King Yusa Kaf, which translates as his soul is powerful. And he's wearing the red crown of the northern African kingdom. So there will be different, all the kings beginning from the first dynasty all the way down to literally the death of Cleopatra the Seventh. They will show these kings wearing, in one statue, they'll have them wearing the white crown of the southern African kingdom. And in another statue, they'll have him, the same king, wearing the red crown of the northern African kingdom. The statement that the king is trying to make is that I am the sole ruler of the two lands, which were joined together to create the kingdom, the ancient civilization of Kemet. Tavan, what is my time looking like?
You actually have about 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
You went over, but I'll give you 3 more minutes.
Oh, okay. And this is another statue of King Yusa Kaf. And he was a 5th dynasty king. And what I want to do is I want to stop here, Tavan.
Okay.
And I'll take up where next week we'll start with King Yusa Kaf.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, once again, like I said before, it has been a beautiful, beautiful journey of Mindful Mondays. Again, shout out to Job Corps in the house, always on Monday. But Dr. Lewis Cross, you still there? If so, I'll give you the last words before we go out.
Yes, I'm here, and I wanted to let Dr. Ross have my time today because I knew that he had missed several times, and I can always pick up next week. But I enjoyed the show today, and thank you very much for your time, everyone. And I really enjoyed every facet of it.
Thank you so much. Dr. Parr, any last words?
No, just everybody be safe this week. Watch the crazy drivers out there, and enjoy the weather.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Dr. Jackson, you still there? I think he dropped off. Today has been a technical catastrophic, but I think we still weathered the storm. We still had a very good educational and informative show. As always, I want to give a thanks to Job Corps in the house. As you can see that their interns are here learning their skills. Again, it's all about a Mindful Monday. Mindful Mondays are hosted at the Care and Gym. One of the sponsors is City Vision. Thank you all. Every Monday, 12 to 2, we're here live at the Hidden Gym, bringing you something that you will never see nowhere else. Mindful Monday. Have a wonderful day. Mindful Mondays. Take
for my